bite of a punch.
Yes, yes, what a knockout that was. Tyson Fury, the WBC, the Lineal, the Ring magazine, the best heavyweight in the world. You name the belt, he's won the belt. Well, I'll tell you what, we had a very special chat with him today. Myself, Dev Sahni, Hall of Fame boxing promoter Frank Warren, and there is a lot to talk about. This is all for you, this is all for the Unibet Lowdown, and it's all right here, where the magic happens. Check this one out.
I'm just here getting a bit of work done, keeping me good looks going. Prize doing an interview with you guys while having a haircut. Doesn't get any better than that, Frank, my old boy. Come on!
Send him down to me. I need to look good. Mind you, it cost me a lot of money. I know that.
He's good, Frank, but he ain't brilliant.
Tyson, it's been a while. It's been a while. Last time I spoke to you was at Wembley Stadium. You just knocked out Whyte in front of 94,000 people. What are your reflections on that night? It's been a couple of months now. How do you look back on it?
I think it was an absolutely fantastic event, a great night of boxing. It couldn't have went any better, to be fair. It was absolutely fantastic. We had a great record-breaking crowd, biggest crowd in history for any event. Ed Sheeran was really pissed off about that recently. And then we had a brilliant knockout to cap it all off. What a send-off. The fireworks, the crowd, the fans, the theme song. The UFC guy jumping in the ring after the fight, me asking how big his Corey was. Doesn't get any bigger.
Did we find out?
Yeah, he didn't give much away, did he?
He didn't give much away.
Have a look. Oh. Selfish.
Tyson, you always talk about how life is about moments in time, right? That felt like a huge moment in the life of Tyson Fury. If you were to come up with one word to look back on that night, what would it be?
It would be a dream come true. You know, it was definitely a dream come true. To be boxing at home at Wembley with a British opponent defending the Ring magazine and WBC Heavyweight Championship on an epic night in April with 94,000 crowd there, and to get an epic knockout, one punch KO over a guy that everyone thought was going to give me problems. It was an absolutely fantastic night. You know, it couldn't have went any better. It had everything. It had one of the best ring walks in history, had the biggest crowd, it had a great knockout, great defense. You know, it was everything that a heavyweight championship of the world should be. You know, it was an epic moment, an epic night. It couldn't get any better. Let's just say, if we would have drawn it up beforehand, we couldn't have thought of how well it would have went on the night. We had great viewing figures. We had great sales. We had a great build-up. We had the Fury Fest beforehand, the live party in the daytime. We had the after parties. We had a great knockout. Everyone got good wins on the card. It was fantastic. You know, it couldn't have went any better at all.
The perfect night, Frank?
Oh, it was, without a doubt. You know, it weren't a ring walk. It's a ring walk that become a ring run. I mean, it was just so dramatic and it looked so good. That was like someone going to war, you know, going out there, a true warrior. And it was phenomenal. But the best promotion ever I've done. I've been involved with. I mean, he does the promotion, don't need me. But it's the best one I've been involved with. And I think we just, you know, between us all, it was marvellous. And, you know, Tyson done everything he should do outside the ring and certainly inside the ring. You know, complete, unbelievable, dominating and explosive finish. Couldn't got any better than that.
Yeah, look, it was an epic night. Tyson, I haven't had a chance to speak to you really since Wembley, and there were comments like initially on the night, Whyte seemed quite almost humbled in defeat. You know, he said, you know, the better man won kind of thing. Subsequently, the next day, he talked about how you pushed him and he banged his head on the canvas, and you know, he sort of felt a bit hard done by. What was your reaction when you started hearing comments like that?
It's a little bit of a letdown, to be fair, because he took it like a man on the night, didn't make any excuses like the old bronze bomber. And then he come out with a load of bullshit after the fight, or he got pushed over his head, hit the canvas. So I watched it. He got chinned, and he was going to fall on top of me. So I shoved him off, and his head never even hit the canvas. His head didn't hit off the floor. Watch the video. His head did not touch the canvas once. So I'm not sure what video he's got, but the ones I've seen and viewed myself, they were. it was a one-sided beatdown and a clean knockout. He landed about 3 punches on me in the full fight.
You reflect that, Frank?
Yeah, it was exactly the same. You know, he looks exactly the same here as when he did coming out the fight, but with a bit of sweat on. There wasn't a mark on him. It was a phenomenal performance. Phenomenal performance. You know, that's what I hate to say it, but there's a tremendous class difference in heavyweights at the moment, and they're all a class below Tyson. All of them.
Yeah, you see what Dylan Whyte did with all these other opponents he's ever faced, like the #1 ranked WBC challenger Oscar Rivas, Lucas Browns of the world, even the AJs. Him and AJ had a real 50-50 fight until he got chinned at the end of it. The Vetkin fights, the Josie Parker fights, they all punch each other to pieces. No one has ever done that to Dylan Whyte before. He's been knocked out before, but not by a one-sided beatdown like that, which it probably humiliating for him because he was ranked #1 WBC Diamond Champion, avoided by everybody in the world for years. And all of a sudden he gets his opportunity. He doesn't want to play ball, for one. And he thought that would scupper the show, him and his manager, but that didn't work. And then goes in there and gets an absolute beatdown and knocked unconscious and doesn't even land any punches at all. So he got what he wanted, and I don't think it went the way he thought it would go, or his team. But that's just tough luck for them. They call out the big GK. He called me a coward, he called me this, he called me that, and he got what was coming. And I couldn't have done it any better if I'd thought about it at home while playing the PlayStation. It couldn't have went any better. He got absolutely outboxed and then carried out the ring. So I done my job, got out of there, and I said a prayer for him to going into the fight as well. I said let him do his best performance, and both men got out the ring in one piece, and we did that. There's no disrespect from me to Dylan Whyte. Man trying to do his best in there, and I'm sure he did his best. And the thing is with boxing is people only remember you for your last fight. You're only as good as your last fight. And with Dillian, he goes in there, gives it his all, not good enough. That ain't no shame to him. That's what he should be embarrassed about is his stupid comments before and after, not his performance. His performance was the best he could do. And if you lose to a better man on the night, there's nothing bad about that. You just lost to a better man on the night. And if I would have ever lost in my career, I'd have walked over, shook the man's hands and said, fair play, you're a good man because you can beat me. And that's it. But unfortunately for them, that's never had to happen to me. So I've never had to humble myself in defeat. But if it would have done, I'd have been the first to admit it and say, you know what, I got beat by a better man. Fair play. Let's go for a beer.
Well, speak about going for a beer. I understand you and Frank went for a bit of a lunch last week. What can you tell us?
It was nice food.
Well, we've got some very exciting news coming. I think the world's been waiting for a plan of action. And we had a nice bit of Italian down in London. We had a long conversation about lots of stuff. And Frank, do you want to take it from here?
Yeah, we looked at a couple of scenarios, and I've got to coming away from. I've been working over the weekend. I spoke to Tyson again today and just now, and we get hopefully come up with something that Tyson wants to do. We were talking about various scenarios, and maybe an exhibition bout. We don't know, but something will come out of it. And once Tyson's happy, then I'll be happy, and then whatever's going to be will be. But there's obviously a lot of things to talk about, and it goes without saying the public all want to see Tyson Fury back into the ring where he's the king. That's what they want to see. I want to see that. I mean, as I've said before, I get and I understand where Tyson is and what he said. But if he, and who knows, people decide they're going to retire and come back in a couple of years' time. I like fellas to fight when they're at their prime. And for me, Tyson Fury isn't at his prime. I mean, that performance last time out was something else. But we're going to have a good chat. And as I say, I'm sure we're going to have some good news, as Tyson said, that we can be announcing fairly soon.
Well, as you sit here today, from hearing Frank's comments there, Tyson, it sounds like we may well see you in a ring in some way, shape, or form again at some point in the future. Is that where we are?
100% like the Jerry Maguire movie said, Frank, show me the money! Show me the money, Frank!
Mind you, don't slip with that razor.
Look, you know what though, guys? If anybody can show me the money, I put a moniker on Frank Warren years ago and I called him Magic Man. Because if he can bring someone back from the absolute dead like he did with me, he must have magic. So he's nicknamed the Magic Man. So the Magic Man is going to show us the money and we're going to make something big, big, big happen.
We will. And I can only do it because what we did together. We did that together and it's worked together. And that's what it's all about. You know, this man is unbelievable to work with. And I've never worked with anybody ever like him, ever in my whole career.
But Tyson, we've seen you going for big long runs with Big John. We've seen you hitting bags, putting videos on Instagram. Is there a bit of an itch to get back in there in some way, shape, or form?
You know, I train every day, twice a day. I run in the mornings and do weights and boxing at night. And that's not for any specific reason. That's just to keep me fit and healthy and mentally well. I've been enjoying my life, you know. And my way of enjoying my life is doing a lot of training. Run every day, minimum 4 miles, maximum 6. And we're boxing, sparring in the gyms and stuff. So that's my way of enjoying my life. Doing a nice bit of training and stuff, and you know, have a few beers now and again, and whatever. Kick a couple of taxis. I'm sure we've all seen that. But yeah, you know, I've enjoyed myself. I've been abroad, acted like a proper idiot abroad, as we all do. And back in Morecambe, I've been away to Miami. I've been doing things and stuff. So I'm very happy. Been very happy. But I'm working every day, so I'm keeping myself busy. I've got me tour coming up, my first leg of my UK tour. Starts on Saturday. First stop, Carlisle. That's going to be an absolute epic tour. So for all the people who haven't got tickets and it's near your area, get down and get yourself a ticket and come and enjoy the show. Let the games begin. That's going to be epic. And then hopefully we've got something going on. Frank's we're going to sit down and talk about what we're going to do and hopefully see me in the ring again sometime soon. But other than that, I've got my third book coming out in November. Written, this will be my third bestseller and I can't even spell.
There you go. How many other top 10 authors can't spell? But there you are. There you are.
Who best can't spell? I'm terrible.
He can spell win. He can spell win.
And I can spell money and count.
Yeah. Oh, no, I didn't want to say that.
Tyson, just something you mentioned there about the little taxi incident. I think when it came out, people were more like, well, who hasn't done that? That is as you said, that's every Brit abroad.
Yeah, every idiot Brit abroad with a few beers in. What we do. Who here has never been on holiday, got pissed up and acted a real mug? Everyone I know's done. I'm not some program robot who gets told what to say and what to do. I'm as real as waking up in the morning and having a breakfast and putting your shoes on. There's no scripted scenes here. You get what you say on the tin.
That was what was endearing sort of about it. It was all very relatable. I think people saw it and they saw themselves in it.
Yeah, for sure. I'm sure it won't be the first time. It won't be the last time.
I want to talk about the heavyweight division. There's always lots and lots going on. Anthony Joshua and Alexander Usyk look like they're going to rematch very, very soon. And he has got a new trainer. He's brought in Robert Garcia. Frank and Tyson, I'd like to get both of your thoughts on that. Tyson first.
Well, I'll give you a brutally honest answer to this, as always. Unless Anthony Joshua gets his ass up to Morecambe and lets me train him for this fight, Robert Garcia and 10 men like him will not make him beat Usyk. Because 1, they don't know him. 2, they don't know what he's got in his engine. And 3, he's not a little Mexican who can go toe-to-toe with someone for 15 rounds. If he gets on Usyk from round 1 and tries to push and be aggressive, he'll be gassed out after 4 rounds, start hanging on after 5, 6 and get stopped in 7. But if he comes to Morecambe Bay and I teach him how to be a real fighting man for 12 rounds and how to deal with these little middleweight people, then he will get a win. But other than that, I see him getting beat again. 2 in a row, baby, and it's over. But if you want to resurrect his career, please come up to the man who's never lost a fight in his life, been undefeated for 13 years, and retired as only the second heavyweight in history to be on top of the game. 2 times heavyweight champion of the world and won every single belt in history there is to win. Does it get any better than that, Frank? That's the
Not
offer.
at all. No. And I've got to tell you something. I'll take that up because I don't see him beating him. I really don't. I don't know what he can. I just don't know what he can do to beat him. Because I think last time, I'll expect he didn't impose himself on Usyk. And the thing is about Usyk, I thought Usyk would get under his jab and work hard inside, but he didn't. He was out jabbing him, from the outside. So I don't see how he's going to do that. And I think Usyk boxed to orders to actually go out there and box him. And there were times when he wobbled him. Certainly in that last round, he was gone. I think Usyk fancies he can knock him over, and I feel that may happen.
Do you think he can knock him out, Tyson? Do you think Usyk can knock Anthony Joshua out?
It all goes on what Robert Garcia's game plan is, how quick he wants him to get chinned. Because what it is, right, to have a style of keep coming forward and putting pressure on somebody when you're a big man like he is and like I am, you need to have 2v12 engines, right? And you need to be able to take punches as well. And you need to have balls like King Kong. And none of them 3 of the above what I've just said does he have. He doesn't have the best engine in the world, doesn't have toughness, and doesn't have balls like King Kong. So other than that, he's got to have the best game plan ever. And to just put on the front foot and attack, it's impossible for him because he doesn't have the grit, determination, will, doesn't have any of the above to do it. So the way I see him doing it, if he trains with this man, is he might hit him with a big punch, which he didn't last time, and try and knock him out that way. But honestly, if he goes on that front foot and try and be aggressive and all that with Usyk, I think he gets stopped inside 8 rounds. And I mean that.
So you had to take to your social media recently and kind of rubbish reports that are out there surrounding yourself and the winner of this fight. Do you want to sort of say anything on that?
Yeah, I seen the Daily Mail, idiots what they are, putting stuff out there that I'm in deep negotiations with my team and the Saudis and Usyk's team. Well, Frank Warren's my team. If anybody's going to be doing any sort of dealings with anybody for any fights, it'd be Frank. So, or Robert, my lawyer, and Robert doesn't know anything, and I know Frank don't know anything about it. So, not unless he's got me those big numbers under his sleeve and he's going to work it out in this interview. It's just the Daily Mail talking shite, but yeah, nothing as of yet. Me and Frank have got something coming, which we won't divulge in this interview, but something to be really excited about. But it doesn't involve Usyk or Joshua at this moment. I will make a decision on all this. I've only just fought not even 3 months ago. Yeah, I wouldn't be expected to fight until October, November, December anyway. But because I've said I'm retiring, everyone's on me. Yeah, you're really retiring. Have a couple more fights. What are you doing? This, that, and the other every single day, right? So I've got no mandatories coming up. I've took care of 2 mandatories back-to-back, Wilder and Whyte. I can have 2 voluntaries if I want. No one's pushing me to do anything. I've got no rush decisions. But when this middleweight knocks out this bodybuilder again, there's only going to be one man in there.
Yeah.
To sort this out, this absolute circus out. So, and what I would say is to these people who want this fight to happen is you better have a big checkbook, because to bring the big GK out or retirement for active battle duty to redeem this country yet again, it's going to cost. Now, I am a prize fighter and I do fight for prizes. But it's going to cost, if you want me to do a mission on this guy, this middleweight, and show you what a real heavyweight does to him, then that's going to be expensive. So they're going to have deep pockets, and we can even talk then.
Well, if it was going on,
the fight has happened with Joshua and Usyk first, because it's quite pointless, because if I was ready to go tomorrow, they're not. They got to fight each other. So there we are. Until then, the Big Mac's going to stay in Morecambe, training like a lunatic, getting haircuts and shaves on Mondays, car valets on Tuesdays, bin day on Wednesdays, and training every single day until further notice. Thank you very much.
And one thing's for sure, if anyone wanted to pull up money like they keep talking, the good thing is now they've got lots of money because petrol's going through the roof. So they're making plenty of money over there.
And by the way, Frank, if you do a deal with the Middle East characters, can you please get us free fuel for life? Because I'm actually spending a fortune petrol and diesel every day.
Well, that's why you might have to come out of retirement.
Tell me about
it. Tyson, there's other movements that have happened away from yourself, away from Anthony Joshua and Alexander Usyk. Daniel Dubois recently knocked out Trevor Bryan over the weekend, picked up a version of the WBA world title. What did you think? Did you catch it?
Well, it was fantastic. I waited up to watch it. It was on. It was actually perfect timing. Well done, Frank, for that one. It was actually about 11:30. The fight happened, which is fantastic because it can be on American soil but go prime time in England. So well done, Frank, on that one. I thought it was going to be like 3, 4 in the morning job, and then when it was like ring walking at 11, I was like, yes. Well, and then for him to be defeated heavyweight champion, 22-0, you know, on a Don King show in America, an old school show, to travel abroad. I believe he's only the second Brit to go over there and do that. Me being one of them. So, a fantastic performance. He knocked out an undefeated heavyweight champion of the world. We didn't know how good that Trevor Bryan was. He could have been the next best thing. He could have been the next Muhammad Ali. Turned out he wasn't. And Daniel chinned him. So, fair play. And now he's got some big moves in the division. And I'm sure everybody's going to want to challenge him for that belt. The likes of your Joseph Parkers, your Dylan Whytes, the Joe Joyce rematch, fantastic fight. Whoever else is involved in these divisions as well. So there's a lot of big fights out there for him now. And with him only being 23, Frank's got a long time to nurture him and make him into a proper fighting machine. So I'd say there's no rush for young Daniel. Match him right, match him regularly, keep him match fit. Very important for him not to let the belt go to his head and get carried away with all this people who are talking to him in his ears. You should fight this person, fight that person, this money, that money. Rome wasn't built in a day. He's only had 17 fights early on in a career. And, you know, very, very, very promising potential for these big nights in the UK again. Many, many big nights with Daniel Dubois and excitement and knockouts. And I think I'm going to send Frank an invoice for this build-up and intro for building him up.
Just one more on Dubois. One of the names that he called out was actually Dillian Whyte. He said he'd be very open to fighting Dillian Whyte now. It'd be a very good fight. I mean, you know Dillian Whyte very well by this point. How would you see that fight going, Tyson?
To be honest with you, Dillian Whyte's very experienced. And obviously, with me fighting him last, I made him look like he couldn't fight. But do not underestimate Dillian Whyte. When you get two big dinosaurs knocking lumps off each other in the middle of the ring, yeah, like they would, bang, 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 someone would get knocked out quite quickly. And whoever lands on whoever at that weight will go. So that's an exciting fight. And if I'm Dillian Whyte, I would love to take that fight because you're coming off a loss to the best fighter that's ever lived. And you got to redeem yourself. What better to do it than a young guy, world champion, and everyone's going to watch it. And it's a point to prove, show how good you are or not. Do you know what I mean? It's a great fight. And I definitely encourage Dillian Whyte to take it and Daniel to take it. And it's a great fight for British boxing. I, for one, will buy a pay-per-view for that one for sure.
It's a good fight. It's a good fight. You know, it is a good fight. And I think a lot of things Tyson said there, you know, that's accurate. Accurate, and it's true. It is a good fight. And I've got no objections to that fight. And I don't think Daniel called him out straight away, didn't he, after the fight? So he hasn't got any objections. So if we could make it, that would be brilliant. And it would be a good fight for the fans. It'd be a good fight to watch. No doubt about that.
We'd have to put in his contract, though. He has to turn up to media and stuff.
This time round, most definitely. Yeah, not having that again.
Tyson, just a final one on the rest of the heavyweight division. Joe Joyce is a good friend of yours. You've done plenty of rounds together. He's knocking on the door for a world title at some point. I asked him, how do you beat Tyson Fury? Because he's a heavyweight around in your era, unbeaten, big British guy that you know. And he said, I just have to juggernaut him. What do you think about that?
And I said, the best way to beat the king is with a bat while he's sleeping. And then you better do a good job because I'm going to get up and kick your ass if you don't. But listen, I don't think any of the weights can beat me. They never could have done, and they never will have done. In 2015, I said, there's only ever been one heavyweight on these shores, and it's me. There ain't no Chisoras, no Joshuas, no Whytes. There's only one name, and he goes by the name of the Gypsy King. And I've shown you what I can do with these heavyweights. I took the best heavyweight the last 50 years, Vladimir Klitschko, and made him look like a ranked novice amateur. He couldn't land a punch on me. Then I've took out the best knockout puncher in history of our sport, outboxed him once, and then knocked him out twice in emphatic style. And then I've took a guy who has battles hell and high water with the number one ranked fighters in the world and absolutely schooled him and knocked him out cold. And then I've got a guy who will beat in his prime, in his heyday, Derek Chisora, the number one ranked WBO fighter of his time, and absolutely give him a boxing lesson the first time and took him to school properly the second time, of whom has gone on, and I thought he deserved a draw at least against Usyk. So did Usyk's manager. He's had epic battles with everybody in the world, but shows you what level I'm on. I've took these guys to school when they're in their heydays. Literally took them to school like they couldn't even box. Shows you what level I'm on. I'm leagues and leagues above them all. There never has been anybody like me. And we will wait another 1,000 years before you are graced with somebody like me again. It ain't happening. There ain't been a 6'9" switch hitting, confident jack like me ever in history before, and there'll never be one. 270 pounds of confidence and aggression and balls and determination and will to win like no other. And against all the odds, come back from mental health, alcohol, drugs, depression, 28 stone, to return to the top of the mountain again and again and again. Takes a bit of beating, the big shoes to follow.
It does. And he's got a better haircut than all of them.
Tyson, one of the people you mentioned there was Deontay Wilder. It sounds like he's going to come back. He wants to continue his journey. You've always maintained that he's the second best heavyweight in the world. Do you still believe that's the case after 3 fights with yourself?
Yeah, I think he's a very dangerous man. I think he'll knock anybody out if he hits him in the face. And in 12 rounds, guess what? He's going to hit him in the face. 44 0 it was when I beat him with 43 KOs. So everybody he ever fought, he knocked out. Even the one that took him the distance, he knocked him out in a rematch. So I think he's a very dangerous opponent, but I don't know what's left in his tank. You don't have 3 trilogies with the best fighter on planet and come out the other side to tell a great story and go on afterwards and win world titles. He has been absolutely destroyed mentally, physically, and emotionally. And I'd say he's a wreck at the moment. He's had a cracked jaw, a cracked skull, been knocked out cold twice. It's a tough comeback for him, but it all depends on what he's got left. I wouldn't like to see him carrying on. I know he doesn't need the money. He's made a lot of money. And I'd like to see him retire, because whether he wins a few more fights or he goes in there and he's totally shot and starts losing, it breaks up his legacy. At the moment, he's lost to the best fighter of a generation. And there's no disrespect in that. There's no shame in that. But if he come back and start getting wiped the floor with people because he's shot to bits, that'd be disgraceful.
Let's hope we don't do it. You know, that's it. And he'll know better than anybody. He done in his heart.
However, if he does want another good hiding, give me a call. Holler. Holler at your boy.
I'm sure he'll get that message. Well, finally, Tyson, just last one. It's been 4 years since this second version, this second coming of Tyson Fury. It was 2018, it was June 9th, it was Sefer Seferi at Manchester Arena. For both of you guys, what a journey it has been. What are your kind of key reflections on the last 4 years?
You know, for me, it's been an absolute journey of a lifetime, a great experience. It's been one of those moments in time that's never stopped. I've had an Indian summer that just keeps giving that. I've had an Indian summer for 4 years. To be where I was and then come back and then do all these big things, sign the biggest deal in history abroad in America on ESPN, and then do all that and have the trilogy with Wilder and come back and sell out Wembley Stadium and defend me title at home, dream come true. It's been an absolute fantastic journey for me. And I said in an interview after the Sefa fight, they said to me, "What have you learned?" I said, 2.5 years is a long time, 1,000 days. I'm not going to take anything for granted, and I'm going to take it all in my stride and enjoy every moment. And I have done. And I've had a fantastic career. And, you know, I don't think I've said this on tape before. I've said it to Frank before. I've never said it on video before, that, you know, all the time I've been with Frank Warren, I have had nothing but fantastic treatment, made me biggest paydays, sold out stadium fights. It's been fantastic. And Frank, you've been a man of your word, mate. Everything that you said you was going to do, we done. Everything I said I was going to do, we did. We've been an absolute team. And for all the young prospects out there, the Olympians and everybody else, top fighters who want to sign up with a proper promoter, someone who's got a proper TV deal, and someone who will bring you along and knows how to get you 20-0, Frank Warren is definitely the man for that. At any level, whether it's a low level, your British title before that, or you're a world champion, Frank Warren can definitely deliver and definitely make it happen. So if you're watching this video and you're unsure who to sign with Frank Warren, the Magic Man, because you're going to make plenty of money and you're going to have an undefeated record. And you're going to win world titles if you're good enough. So say no more. I'm going to send you an invoice for that as well, Frank.
It's an expensive interview, this, Frank.
This is worth every penny. I've got to say, well, thank you as always. You know, it's been a great relationship, and he's a friend. And all I want for Tyson is the best. Whatever he wants, I want. That's how it is.
Yeah, it's been a fantastic journey, Frank, and I want to thank you from the bottom of my heart for everything that you've done and everything you've been involved in. A lot of people don't know, but for the Klitschko fight, it was Frank Warren who got me married by the WBA and WBO. So Frank Warren made that fight happen. He got me to fight Chisora and paid me biggest payday ever, and then got me to fight Klitschko as a mandatory. So all the time I was messing with Frank Warren, I had the big fights and the big deals. And when I wasn't messing with Frank Warren, nothing happened. So Frank, give yourself a good pat on the back and be proud that you took a young man in his 20s to get in a world title fight. Expensive job as well, by the way. People think, oh, if you're good enough, you can get a world title heavyweight. But no, it costs millions of pounds investment over the years to build an heavyweight into getting into position. Then you've got to get top 10 fighters, which are all expensive, which we know. And then your man's got to be good enough and deliver and win. So it's a big risk to get him there. And then to get a man from 28 stone and believe in him, believe in what he's saying, and give him the fights that he needs. And then to deliver another big fight in America, and another big fight, and then to be a part of a massive deal in America. He is the man who just keeps giving all the time. So big respect, big Frankie boy.
Thank you, Tyson. That is very much appreciated. Very kind.
And a lot of these fighters, Frank, would never give credit where credit's due. But I'm a man who likes to, when people have done well and been good to me, I like to thank them.
Thank you.
Brilliant.
And vice versa. For me, you've been a joy to work with. It's been unbelievable between the two of us, and hopefully it'll continue. I'm sure it will.
Well, I've many more nights, whatever it may be, Frank. Don't worry about that, son.
I know, mate. I know, and I'm looking forward to it. I'm looking forward. All I want, as I say, whatever you want, I'll deliver. That's how it is.
All the best, guys, and thanks very much for the interview. And don't forget, I'm going on tour somewhere. So, Frank, I want to see you on the drink at one of these shows.
I'll be there. I'll be there. Don't worry about that. Just that, long as the wine and the champagne's there, you know I'm going to be there.
Oh, that'll do that, Frank. 100% we're on it.
Thanks, Tyson.
Thanks, Tyson.
See you soon, and God bless. Thanks.
Cheers, mate.